Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. For the day we are heading back into r/AmITheDevil, and if you guys would love to be absolutely amazing, show your support and see more videos like this one in the near future, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment down below to start up them wholesome internet discussions, and if you guys haven't that already, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. Also, if you guys would like to save 10% on your next order of gamer subs, use code Tommy at checkout, or click the link down below. It'll automatically apply the discount to your transaction, and it helps support the channel. Thank you. Am I the a-hole for refusing to make my teenage stepdaughter a matching dress so she doesn't feel left out at my bridal party photos? I, 34F, am getting married in October. It's my second marriage, and I've been with my fiance, 37M, for 4 years. He has a 15-year-old daughter, Kayla, from a previous marriage. Kayla and I have an okay relationship. We're not super close, but we get along. She lives with her mom most of the time and stays with us every other weekend. For my bridal party, I have 3 close friends and my younger sister as bridesmaids. They're all wearing matching forest green satin dresses. Kayla is not a bridesmaid, not because I dislike her, but because we are just not at that level. And I wanted my bridal party to be people I've known for years. No drama there, until now. A few weeks ago, Kayla asked if she could have a dress just like the bridesmaids, so she doesn't feel left out in photos. I thought it was sweet, and she wanted to be involved, but I told her that I had already planned a nice outfit for her, a pretty age-appropriate cocktail dress in the same color family, but not the same style. She seemed disappointed, but said okay. Then my fiance told me later that night that Kayla had cried about it to him, saying she feels like a random guest at her dad's wedding, and it proves that I don't see her as part of the family. Now my fiance is gently suggesting that we just have a matching dress made for her, so it's not a big deal. But I'm hesitant. For one, the dresses were expensive and custom-made months ago. I don't want to make my friends feel weird by suddenly adding someone to the bridal party a few months out. But I also feel like it's kind of defeats the purpose of what the bridal party is. It's not meant to be a symbolic of family. It's about friendships and history. I offered to involve Kayla in other ways. She's reading a poem during the ceremony, and we are getting a special photo with her and her dad. But now I feel like that's not enough, and I'm the bad guy for drawing a line. So, am I the a-hole for not making her a matching dress, or should I just give in to keep the peace? So, because you don't see your stepdaughter as the same level of daughter as your daughters, and it would be one thing if everybody had a different theme of dress and everything and none of the dresses were matching, but putting her on the spot, having her dress be the only one that wasn't in the same series as everybody else, kinda does, like, a bit of a hit on her feelings and everything. Like, she isn't really part of the family. Because the more you look at it, the more you kind of think, yeah, you're kind of singling out this person. And God forbid that your family members aren't biologically related. Am I the a-hole for muting Love Island during my trivia show and snapping at a waitress who told me to leave it on? I, 34F, host a weekly live trivia night at a local bar. Let's call it Barzo's. I've done this show for months, but never know what I'm walking into. There's poor communication, no consistent manager, and the bar rarely promotes the event. Each time I arrive, it's like a rotating cast of staff, and none of them really know or care who I am or what I'm doing. This week, I hadn't seen any promotion, so I posted a simple comment on their Facebook page asking if trivia was happening. That comment triggered one of the managers to message my manager saying they wanted to cancel. I had no way of knowing that, since no one had told me directly, so I showed up like I always do. When I arrived, the Rangers game was playing loudly, so I sat at the bar with zero expectations. Eventually, I overheard customers asking the bartender if trivia was still happening. That was my cue. I set up, started the game, and got 2 or 3 teams playing. One kind staff member even muted the game so I could be heard. Mid-show, I noticed a group of young women upstairs streaming Love Island. Not cable TV, not sports, just a show from a streaming service, and the volume was loud enough to drown out my mic. So I quietly walked over to the table and muted the TV so that the teams could hear me. And not long after, they turned the sound back on. I finished a few more questions, then walked upstairs and gently let the girls know that trivia happens every Tuesday from 7 to 9, so they'd know for next time. They cut me off and said, well, we called ahead, and were told that we could watch this. Not our problem. I was stunned by the entitlement. But before I could respond, one of the waitresses, who has always been cold towards me, jumped in and said, yeah, we're gonna leave it on. They're paying customers. At that point, I had 3 questions left. I told her, well, that's rude. She got defensive and said that I wasn't acting like an adult. I'm an adult, I can cuss, and I'll be here every Tuesday, whether you want me to or not. I wrapped up the game as fast as possible, and then approached one of the owners. I calmly explained how inappropriate it is to let staff and customers play a TV show over a live event, and how the general lack of communication and support is making it impossible to do my job. She apologized and said that it wouldn't happen again. He also told me to leave looking happy, which, okay, I smiled, shook his hand, and left. When I went to pay for my drink, the new bartender tried to suddenly reach for my change like I was supposed to tip her. I didn't. I just took it and said, alright guys, see you next week. So, am I the a-hole for muting the show and snapping at the waitress? Or is this just what happens when no one takes your job seriously? So let's see if I have this down correct. Instead of going over and asking the people, hey, could you turn down the TV a little bit so we can hear you, my trivia stuff better? Which, by the way, was in fact canceled and you decided to set up anyways, like somebody clocking in on their day off when they weren't asked to come in on everything. And instead of, asking them to turn down the volume, you just outright mute it. So that is already you giving yourself a bad first impression to the people that happen to have been enjoying that TV series. And also on top of that, your thing was supposed to be canceled anyway. It was a little bit on their fault that they didn't properly convey that to you, and I can understand being so used to something being on a certain day that you just sometimes go in on a whim. Like, I've gone into my retail job on days that I didn't have off just because I've been so conditioned that this day, this time is what I do. Am I the a-hole? I told my partner off for suggesting that I needed therapy. A few weeks ago, my partner and I went on a trip to Tanzania to go to a safari. It was pretty nice, and we had met a lot of really great people who were in the safari car with us. Then, as we are driving back home, our driver decides to stop at a gas station. There are a bunch of people and try to sell cheap souvenirs to make a living. I know that salespeople bothering you is the norm in Tanzania, but there was one lady who just kept following me around after I repeatedly told them I'm not interested, probably like 20 plus times. Then, after I got into the car, the salesperson reaches through the window, continuously probing me to buy stuff. I know that the people need to earn a living, but I was getting kind of pissed off, fed up. I got the salesperson's hands out of the car. I said thank you one last time, and then shut the window. Perhaps it may have been a bit aggressive, but I didn't think that much about it. Like, 10 minutes later, however, my partner starts to ask me whether I've felt myself getting more angry lately. My dad has a history of anger issues, and I said no, not really. Context: we've never really had any incidents where either of us blow up, unless something really bad happens, i.e. on the scale of losing a job or a friend dying. Especially after growing up with my dad, I learned to try and talk things out whenever bad things happen. A few more minutes pass, and my partner says that there's great therapy out there for people that fix their problems. I again tell her that I really don't think I've been getting angry lately, and that this was an isolated incident. Then, when we get off the car, she says, if you're worried about the stigma, it's okay. No one is gonna judge you for going to therapy. I was kinda annoyed at this point and told her to screw off. We both swear a lot to each other, and not in an angry way. She took it really hard and asked the hotel if there was an additional room available for her to stay the night. I've been trying to apologize for the past few hours, but she's locked herself in her room and it's completely unresponsive. I know that she just wants to help me, but from my perspective, I don't think I did anything wrong enough to deserve that reaction. But her perspective and yours might be a bit different, so am I the a-hole? Edit. A lot of people have told me that I am the a-hole in this case because I failed to ask my partner why exactly she felt that I needed therapy. While I'm not sure yet whether I want therapy, I'm going to try and have a conversation with her about why she chose to recommend it. Also, I know in this subreddit you're not supposed to ask for advice, but the comments you all have made have actually been really useful. Even if you think I get the point that I am the a-hole and don't see the reason to post, your perspective could be immensely useful for me. Thanks a lot. Edit 2. I forgot to mention that where I live, telling someone to get therapy is like saying, you're dangerous, so go get a doctor to fix you before you hurt someone or yourself. It's pretty much only used in that context, so when I heard it, I took it as though my partner was saying that I was dangerous for her. Looking back, though, my outburst wasn't justified. Edit 3. So, many people seem to be focused on the swearing, so I thought I'd add a bit for clarification. To my knowledge, I have not forced her in any way to swear. Her friends often joke that when they were kids, she was the one who taught them all of the swear words, and got in trouble for accidentally saying them in class. Most of the time when we swear, it carries very little weight. We do say F a lot to each other, and usually as a warning to indicate that we are annoyed. I'll tell you this very much now, if there is unfortunately some kind of yelling, or if it is a consistent thing, I highly do recommend giving therapy at least a shot. You don't need to go every single week for like 6 months and everything, but there's nothing wrong with giving it a shot. If somebody is actually saying it, then there is usually a good reason behind it. I know there are some people that will say it as some kind of insult, but that's not always the case. Like for myself, a while back, I had severely bad depression, like almost as bad as it can get. And one of my friends just straight up told me, dude, you need to do therapy. And I thought about it. I talked it over with my family, and lo and behold, I've been going to therapy for a good while now, and I feel a little bit better about myself after it all. My sister got engaged, and I shouldn't be bothered, but I am. To be honest, this is a bit of a hard post to write because I know it is kind of ridiculous, but my sister has just come to tell me that she's got engaged. It has really stirred me up. Not anger, just upset. And there are several reasons as following. 1. About 2 years ago, I left an engagement with someone I really loved. I was completely and utterly head over heels for this guy. And he proposed to me after numerous massive red flags, including violence, although not directly hitting, and was just so under the delusion that it was communication issues. And I had no idea what narcissistic redacted was at the time, or any of the tactics used to keep someone mentally confused. I did leave, lived alone, and said he was sorry / would change, etc. He proposed. Beautiful ring, and then he was straight on to, let's buy a house. The wedding never happened after the house purchase, and I had to basically flee the house after less than a year, leaving him living there alone. Just about to sell it, which is the biggest relief ever, and honestly, it was the death of my dreams and hopes, not just of a relationship. It took me 18 months to recover, and I'm still living in a room share. 2. Her fiancé is nice enough, but frankly, she's complained regularly about him calling her in the night. He's shown up at places that she's been at randomly. I have no idea how he knew where she was. He's a lovely guy on the outside, but he has possessive tendencies, and since she's been with him, she's spent all of her time with him. Literally has basically moved in with him. His mother is going on about them having babies, and I knew she'd get engaged at some point. But with the ways that he sometimes acts, I don't think it's a good idea. her life though, and I accept that. He pays for everything, and he does treat her really well, but it feels like he basically owns all her time now. 3. My sister and I used to be close. We bonded over our shared relationship problems and learning from mistakes. And suddenly, she's gone. Nowhere suddenly is like I don't matter, and I'm left sat here at 40. No boyfriend. Yes, I'm looking forward to the sale completing on my house, but honestly, it feels like her life worked out whilst mine didn't. I don't know if I feel jealousy, it's more just sadness because of the situation I'm in, and being alone pretty much all the time. I've also lately been disappointed by yet another man who I have been friends with for 7 years. Our messaging increased a lot when I found out that he's hiding a girlfriend from me, and that he's just using me for attention. I don't know, I just feel so bad about it. I feel abandoned by her, and she uses me as a sounding board whenever she feels like it. The latest, ironically, is to complain that she's excluded from her friend group, when I don't have anyone, not even her. She's also the golden child in our community, so for her graduation, we bought her a diamond ring and my parents' suggestion. Me though? Oh, don't worry, I'll buy my own, and for my 40th, I'll just get gifts dropped at the door. Feeling pretty bad. So what, you're upset because somebody else that you happen to know got into a relationship and is happy before you did? That kind of sounds greedy. Just because you happen to have had a relationship that didn't really work out all too well, meanwhile your sister got into one and is engaged and everything, doesn't mean things won't work out for you in the future. However, acting like you do, or describing things the way you did in your story, very much sounds like not much of a likable person you are, as Yoda would quote if they happen to have been narrating this. I hate to break it to you, but I've stated this in nice guy videos in the past. A step to getting into a relationship is, being a likable person. Anybody that gets upset or jealous over somebody else being in a happy relationship is not somebody I want to be around. But with that, that is going to have to be it with the video. If you guys would love to be absolutely amazing, show your support, and see more videos like this one in the near future, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment down below to start up the wholesome internet discussions, and if you guys have not already, subscribe to the channel and turn on them notifications. But with that, I'll be sure to see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye!